Great. It is Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza again, and welcome to another episode where we talk schoolboy rugby, and once again schoolboy rugby. In episode 10, we've now been looking for the past few weeks. We've been looking at a build-up of the St. John's Festival, and we had interviews with coaches of many of the schools, about 5 to 6 of the schools that's participating. Now we're going to shift our attention to another important tournament that's taking place in Pretoria, and it's, of course, the well-known Noord Suid Tournament that's always held annually. Now, this year it will be held at Affies, so we can have a look at it. And also joining me is also my co-host, the founder of Schoolboy Bonanza, Mr. Louis van Kopenhagen. Welcome, Louis.
Good evening, Steve. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here. I think we have a packed episode. It's going to be something a little bit different than what we've done so far. So I'm very excited to delve into this and then get us started.
Right, so we're going to be looking at the Noord Suid Tournament that's starting on the 26th of March. But before we're going to look at the teams and the fixtures, we're going to focus on the host. Every year it's held at a different school. This year, Affies is going to be the host of this tournament. So we're going to have a look a bit at Affies, right? And as Louis can start us off, let's just have a look at the school and the introduction and some of the history.
Yes. So, of course, Affies is short for Afrikaans Hoërseun School. It's a well-known school in Pretoria, and we know they are very strong in academics, culture, sport, and especially rugby. That is something that we love. So if we look back, they were founded in 1920. It's an Afrikaans-speaking boys' school. They have Afrikaans Macy's who were literally across the road. So it's all about the Afrikaans culture and preserving the Afrikaans culture within the school, within the structures, with everything that's been built and why they built the school. So, and as we know, my dad was an old boy as well.
And I believe your uncle played for the first team.
Yes, my uncle played for the first team. He was flank. He also wore 6 jersey. So, and very interesting, they played in the final of the Beeldtrofee.
Sure.
He didn't play because he injured his knee in the semi-finals, and they lost. So a lot of people have the conspiracy theory that because he didn't play, they lost. So
yeah,
but it's been running in the family. My dad's older sister, she was in Affies Macy's. So it's a very rich and deep tradition within our family.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
Right.
Also, as we can see here, this is the main building and where they have all the boys, and where they started off with a very small number of students, and over the years they grew. We know they started in 1920, and they focused on academics, discipline, the Afrikaans culture, and sport, and through sport, especially through sport, to express yourself, who and what you are. And I think that is something in South Africa, we are still very lucky that sport is still very much part of South African culture. Because
Absolutely.
I was overseas for many years. You talk to people from overseas and they ask you, what is the South African culture like? You tell them, yes, Afrikaans, English, braai, sport, and especially rugby. So,
Yeah.
and then they would ask you questions, how is sport part of your culture? And then I would tell them 99% of all the schools, once you finished all your classes, you get on the sports field. Doesn't matter which sport you play. So it's a very rich tradition. It's part of
Oh,
who
yes.
we are. And as we know, the Springboks are 4 times world champions. So
Yes.
it shows a lot. And it's very difficult to find schools and countries that put sport in such a high regard. Like,
Absolutely.
yes. So that is something when I was overseas that I found very interesting, because they run their schools from like 7:30 till 4:30, 5 p.m. Then your day is finished. You don't have
Wow.
time for sport. Where we were still very lucky, we finished at 2 o'clock, get on the sports field, you play for 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and then only then you go home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, this is one of the hostels in within Affies. As we can see, it hasn't changed much over the years. It seems they keep this culture of this old building. And I think also why they do this is to show the heritage of the school, the grassroots of the school. And we know the hostels with Affies and their biggest rivals, Pretoria Boys High. It's always
Yes.
interesting to see how they rival with each other. And even outside of sport, what I've heard from good sources as well, your hostels between Affies and Boys High, they will have some special events as well.
Yeah.
And that
It-
just shows you the culture within the schools. It shows you it's not just the academics, it's not just the sport, it's almost a lifestyle.
yes. Absolutely. And as far as I can know, the of course, besides the hostels competing against each other, it's your under 14s, your under 16s, and then of course your open teams, and then your first team, which is the main event.
Yes.
And Afis has had Pretoria Boys High's number now for the past couple of years. I think it's been a while since Pretoria Boys High has managed to pull one over Afis.
Yes. And last year, I watched that game, although I
Yeah.
wasn't at the game itself, but I watched
Yes.
online. And Steve, I must tell you, Pretoria Boys High brought the game. They really
Wow.
brought the game. And I sat here, my heart almost sank. I'm like, after the first 20 minutes, Boys High was leading with quite a margin. And I thought to myself,
Wow.
the way these guys are playing, Affies really needs to pull something out of the bag.
Yes.
I watched and I watched and nothing happened. And suddenly, towards the end of the first half and after halftime, Affies just went from third gear right into sixth gear.
Yeah.
And they played Boys High off their feet. So
Wow.
that was really something to behold. It was a very entertaining game. And what we heard from the commentators as well, 17,500 people went to go and watch that game.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It just
Yeah.
shows you, even with the Paul Derby, Paul Boys High, Paul Gym, 23,000 people. Now, between these four schools, 40,000 people. That is one rugby stadium, almost
Yeah.
rugby stadium To go and
Yeah,
watch,
it's a cricket stadium.
yeah,
Yeah,
to go and watch Schoolboy Rugby, it just shows
incredible.
how healthy and how well managed Schoolboy Rugby is within South Africa.
Absolutely, and of course, that's also a game that's televised on our national television satellite.
Yes, correct. So never mind just the people that physically went to go watch. I was one of the people who watched online. I would really know, I would really like to know the number of the people who actually watched the televised game. That would be very,
Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's huge.
yeah,
It's a huge thing, and I think there's nothing that beats it's little things that can that beats schoolboy rugby derbies in South Africa.
yes,
It's one of our histories. It's part of our culture, tradition.
yes,
And I know Affies and Pretoria boys since in our days in the 90s, it was always a huge derby, always a game that was worth watching. And since the late 90s, it was
yeah,
always a game that that the television services made an effort to actually take their camera crew to record it. As they called it in our days, the F&B derbies, the
yes,
F&B clashes.
yes. No, definitely. So, and that's one of the derbies this year. I think that we really want to go and watch. I think that
Yes,
fantastic
absolutely.
just to go and mingle with the crowd. We coming from Johannesburg, going to Pretoria, we know it's always very different. The crowds are different because they are Blue Bull supporters, we are Lion supporters. So there's always that battle between all of the provinces, and that's something
Yeah,
that also brings something different towards the games, right?
yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's part of our culture.
Yeah. And also, we know through over the years, being a boys' school, they've become a powerhouse in most of their sports. Rugby being number one, cricket, golf, tennis, athletics, water polo, swimming, and so many of our current Proteas players and Springbok players have come through the ranks through Affies. And none other, one of the very latest ones, AB de Villiers. So
Yes.
where he, not just rugby, cricket, he almost got provincial colors and national colors in all the sporting codes.
Including tennis. And the interesting fact about Awie de Villiers is that not only did he represent the Proteas and played SA schools cricket, but he also played for Affies first team. He was a fly-off, and he also played for SA schools. And none other than Faf du Plessis and Heino Kuhn, also former Protea players, played with Awie de Villiers for Affies as well as SA schools.
Yeah.
Cravenbeck team also.
Yeah.
Of course, Heino Kuhn is an old Titans wicketkeeper, played years and years for the Titans, and he also played a couple of games for the Proteas.
Yes.
And we all know who Faf du Plessis is. He also played for Affies, first team rugby, as well as the Cravenbeck team. So that is a very interesting stat. And also to know that AB de Villiers, I've actually seen footages of AB de Villiers playing fly-off for Affies. He was actually known as an outstanding schoolboy fly-off that could very easily have played provincial rugby also if he chose rugby, and maybe even perhaps could have gone on to play for the Springboks. He had that kind of talent. So very interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing that I can also quickly point out is that not only are they known for their rugby players and school players, but also for their teachers. They've got I think of a legendary teacher by the name of Pierre Edwards.
Yes.
Played fullback for Northern Transvaal. He also represented South Africa in a test or two. And he, of course, was the headmasters of Affies for years and years, an absolute legend of Affies and the culture of Affies. The headmaster, Pierre Edwards.
Yeah.
He played for the Springboks in 1980 and years for the Blue Bulls in the 80s.
Yeah. And I think he was also headmaster during the time we were at school because I remember
Yeah,
um,
he was in the
in
90s
those times in
without giving our age away.
no, they were they were always in the top three, always.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yes.
so it just shows you that, and this is something I think that we miss in some of our mixed schools. Let's call it the mixed schools where boys and girls are together, where you get the guys who go on to play provincial or even national sides, but they never come back to the school where it all started and plow
Yes,
back into that system where with
exactly.
all boys schools, um, Affies, Paul Boys High, Paul Roos, you, Great College, all of them, all the guys who went through the ranks, eventually they plow back into that grassroots level. And I think
So
that is
important.
something we need to look into to see how and where we can implement this within your so-called mixed or normal schools, where to show them, oh, look, this guy played sevens or he played uh, for the Proteas or national colors in swimming, but that they come back to the schools and put their trades into the school and help these athletes.
Absolutely. I think it's important also to realize that all the players that played for Affies, the first team, and that went on to higher honors, that every time they come back to Affies, they are treated as heroes. Huge amount of respect, and you can just imagine the influence, the presence they have if they come to attend a game. I know if AB de Villiers goes to attend a couple of the Affies games, it's an incredible honor for the school to have him there and just his presence. And for them to be able to come back and to sew back, even if it's just a day, to spend time with the boys, it
Mm,
means a huge amount of inspiration and privilege for those schools just to tap into that experience and the presence of those great players. So I think it's so important that ex-players of rugby schools, um, especially players that play provincial honors and Springbok,
yes.
will come back to pay honor to the school where it all started and just to spend a bit of time, even if it's only for a day, maybe hold a clinic just to sew back into the school. Because as we all know, Affies is, as you said, is a powerhouse.
Mm.
They've always been ranked since I can remember in the top three. And last year, they were actually ranked fifth in South Africa, just behind Affies, behind Great College. And we
Yes.
also know that not only is Affies ranked in the top five in South Africa, they're also ranked in the top 10 in the world, if I'm not mistaken, or in the top
Yes.
20 of world schools
Yes.
in the world.
Correct.
They've been at the World Festival schools, I think, also on a couple of occasions. And
Yes.
they also regularly ranked inside the top 10 or top 20 in the world for rugby schools. So it's a
100%.
huge legacy,
Mm.
top powerhouse, and primarily regularly ranked inside the top three to top five in South Africa, as well as the top 10 in the world.
Yes. 100%. So, as we also know from the rugby culture at Affies, they are called die wit bulle.
Yes,
And that's always something very interesting because they are in Pretoria. We know the team from Pretoria is called the Blue Bulls. And I always think to myself, all right, the main team or the Craven Week team is called the Blue Bulls. Did they go a color change or did they have an identity crisis to be called the Wit Bulle? So it's always something I shouldn't think about. But we know from their rugby jersey, it is white with all the stripes in the middle, and
yeah,
that is their rugby jersey identity. And it's just something very interesting, as we can see here, the Witbill with the red, the yellow, and the green, and then we can see the rugby balls. So this is something very interesting, and I think being the Blue Bulls, that's the main team, being the Witbulle. It all fits in within the culture, within the rugby culture, within
Yeah.
Pretoria, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think every school's got a unique identity, and
Yeah,
that's the identity of Affies. I know we come from Randburg High, and we were always called the blue machine, the blow
yeah,
machine. Always, always. So the Witbulle is an identity of Affies that I think is there to
yeah.
stay for years and years and years to come.
Yeah, hence we've got the blue t-shirts for our rugby logo, right?
Yeah, but that's upright. Randburg High. We
Right.
old Randjies.
Yeah. So yeah, again, so we just go on with the Witbulle reflecting the strong rugby heritage within Pretoria. So it is just something amazing to see that they play for the badge, they play for the jersey, they
They
play
do.
for the tradition, they play for the school. And I think not many people will ever understand what it means to be part of such a big rugby culture, rugby school. I don't think many people do understand that.
Yeah.
And it is very hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand rugby as much as we do in South Africa. For us, it's a natural thing. We understand this, but I've tried to explain to other people what it means for these boys to go and play for their school, to play for the badge, to play for the
That's
jersey.
huge. It's
Um,
huge. It's
it's
huge.
massive, Steve, and
Yeah.
it's something not many people will ever understand until they go to a game and see this for themselves.
I mean, to represent, I said it once in a presentation when I was at the Linden game, to represent your school in any sport honor is a huge honor. And I know from my athletics that I represented the school
Yeah,
as the number one athlete in middle distance. And,
yes,
to be selected for the inter-high school, for the inter-high team, for the school, for the inter-high athletics, and to stand in front of the school, being introduced now as representing the school, singing the school anthem, it's a huge thing. And you can only that's in athletics now. Rugby is the premier sport in South African schools.
mm,
How much more bigger honor is it for a rugby child to represent his school on the highest of levels in his school, the first team. You can only see them if they run onto the field. Almost normally every school rugby player, they will have their hands on their hearts while they're running on the field.
correct.
And that's what it means. They are willing to bleed and die almost on the field
Yes,
for the
for
school.
their school.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah,
It's a huge thing for a child
yeah.
to represent his school.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I mean, it's something that not many people will understand until they are in their shoes,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, it's a huge thing. Absolutely.
So now we come to something very interesting. So over the years,
Yeah,
we know there are some of the derbies. We know Pretoria Boys High is probably the biggest Pretoria derby there is, right? Pretoria Boys High,
yeah,
Affies, that is Pretoria derby. If you think of Pretoria, you think of
yes,
those two schools. Then the other schools they usually compete against would be Grey College Bloem, um, and Paul Gym in Cape Town, and Paul Boys High, Maritzburg College from Durban, Glenwood. So these are all your derbies, but the main derby, as I put it here, I I wanted to highlight this one because the Pretoria derby is like the Paul derby. These two
yeah, it's
schools,
huge.
it's like the whole world can go stand still. But when these two schools play, everyone is there. Everyone will hold their hearts and hope for their team to win, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was lucky enough to go and play around, to go and see. I know I didn't get some of the current players. We know Archie Snyman, the Viking. He is one of the most recent ones from Affies to play for the Springboks. But when I looked at this, I'm like, yeah, this tells the whole story of more or less Springbok rugby and Affies rugby. Um, we know Wynand Olivier, Farid.
Yeah.
That's probably the best scrum half that has roamed the face of the earth. And Pierce Spies.
Yeah. Most complete, in my eyes, the most complete scrum half in the world,
Yeah,
especially in the days that I watched.
yeah,
Frida Pre was an incredible scrum half.
yeah. And um, and it was always nice to see Farid Priya against Aaron Smith at their heyday. Probably the two best scrum halves ever.
Yeah,
And you can even put Joost van der Westhuizen, but the two of them, it just made they played rugby on a different level, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we all know Pierre Spies, that also a lot of people call him a freak of nature because he
Yeah.
was just different. So,
He actually, interesting fact about PSPs, he actually started in the back line. I think he
oh, I
started as
didn't
a
know
wing.
that.
Yeah, he started. I think in his school days he was in the back line, and then he was moved. That's why. That's why he had such incredible speed. He actually started his rugby in the back line.
Wow, that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and
No.
PSP's dad, PSP senior, also played SA schools, and he played years and years as a wing for Northern Transvaal for the Blue Bulls. PSP senior,
Oh,
PSP's
wow.
dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also a former Blue Ball player.
Oh, wow. So it runs in the family, right?
Absolutely, yeah. PSP senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, just to get back to Pierre Spies, so whether he was a forward, whether you would have put him in the back line, I think from an opposition point of view, if you see this man running towards you, what are you going to do?
Mm,
What are you going to think?
yeah. In the years that PSP's played, it was the big three. I always used to call him. It was PSP's, Ryan Kankowski, and Joe van Niekerk. They were the big three. All three played eight men.
Yes,
Joe van Niekerk was a little before them, but in the same era.
yes,
And then Ryan Kankowski from the Sharks, and of
yes,
course PSP's from the Blue Bulls. They were the big three of South African eighth men.
yes. And also, I think Joe van Niekerk also, he matriculated the same year as us. We will not give our age away, but he
No,
matriculated the
no.
same year as us. Um,
Yeah,
and also, that year he was SA schools captain. And a lot of people, like they did with Marcus Miller, like they did with Andre Pollard, made a huge fuss about Joe van Niekerk because he
yeah,
was just absolutely fantastic. I mean,
yeah.
he just played on a different level. And yes, we know there were a few problems regarding him and SA Rugby, but that doesn't matter. And then he played overseas. But still, he played over 50 tests for the Boks. I think if
Yeah.
he wasn't injured as much, he would have probably played 100 test matches.
Yeah, no, he was a top class player, brilliant,
Mm.
brilliant player. We
Yeah.
were blessed in that era with great eighth men. We were
Yes.
really
Oh, yes.
blessed.
Oh, yes, definitely. So, and also, this is something very interesting. Over the years, Affies has, because we know most of these big schools have the old boys, but what Affies has done a little bit different. They called it Club 600, right? Where all the
Yeah,
old boys, so this is basically the old boys club, but they call it Affies Club 600. So um, for all the old boys, the supporters, and whenever they play at Affies, they will always have a stand for these people. And that is something I love about the boys' schools within South Africa, where they have the old boys club. They have you as an old boy can go to the games. Oh, yes, I can go and sit there. And usually they get the best seats in the house.
Yeah. Wow. That's very
So,
interesting.
yeah.
That's a
So
great initiative.
very interesting. And I think that's something we can have a look at when we go to the Noord Suid Tournament. Let's have a look at this Club 600. Let's go to them, let's talk to them, and just have a chat and see what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Um, for those of you who don't know, we're going to be at the Noord Suid tournament. We're going to be there on this Saturday.
Yes.
So if you can't make it, please look out for us for live recordings. We will, from time to time, have live recordings. We will have a couple of chats, build up previews about interviews and talks, analysis about the coming games. That's up. Hopefully, we will sneak in an interview or two. Have an interview with maybe some of the parents. You never know. Show you the school around, and we also will have match rates available of the Saturday games. We will have match for every single game. So if you can't follow it on the television or the streams, you can always follow it on our Facebook group,
Facebook group.
Schoolboy Rugby Bonanza. You can follow the match rates, and you can follow and stay up to date with all the matches that's going to be played on this Saturday.
Yeah. And I think that will also, and afterwards, we will probably bring out our magazine to cover the Noord Suid
Yes,
tournament, just to give a summary on what we experienced. So it's just,
absolutely.
it's our perspective. And I think that's also something that you guys can follow. And let's just support the boys. And that's what we are here to do, right, Steve?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
something that always interests me, because we know from every school, you have your traditional colors and your rugby jerseys, your swimming wear, your hockey, netball, everything is one color or according to the colors of the school. But your first team always has a little bit of a different jersey. And as we can see here, it is white. This is hence the white billa with the green, the yellow, and the red. And then obviously,
Sure.
so these are the official colors of Affies itself. So this is represented within the jersey. And you can see within the logo as well, red, yellow, white, and green. So this is something
Wow.
that's very interesting, where your other teams, where the white is, it would be green, but they will still have the green, the yellow, and the red stripes in the middle, but the main part will be green.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very interesting.
So
Wow.
this is something that always interests me. This is something that I always look out for and try to do some research and understand the psyche behind why the first teams are always different. And something, when I was doing some research on this as well, they say to that, yes, it is one school, but especially when it comes to your first team, because they are basically your alpha and omega of the school. They are the
Yeah.
real carriers of the school name. So not taking away anything from your other teams, but when it comes to the first team, they know they have to step up and really represent the school like no one else can.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So very, very interesting. Right. So now this is something very interesting. So when you look at the jersey, when you look at their logo and what they want to put forth into the students, what they want to instill within the school learners is to work and win. So if you work hard,
Beautiful.
you will win at the end of the day. So they are trying to instill this because if you're going to sit and being lazy, do you think you will win? No,
Of course not.
no. So
Most
they,
definitely not.
so it doesn't mean you have to be the best. Just work and do your best, and you will win at the end of the day. And that is something very beautiful, very short, very sweet, and very powerful.
Wow.
And now we come to something very interesting as well. What does it mean to wear the Affies jersey? Pride, tradition, and to uphold the high standards of the school. And I think this is also why they hold the badge, because they know what this means to represent their school. You said it earlier as well. So I think it is a huge honor for these boys to be able to play first team.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a huge thing, and not only are you representing your school, you also represent the history, as you said, the tradition, and all the people, all the former players that went before you. You're also representing them, not just the new Affies, but also the old Affies. So it's a huge tradition and history and the legacy to be able to play for Affies. Huge thing.
And I think also if we extend further than the school, the current players, the old players, the Affies community.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So that is something, and I don't think many people will really understand what that really means. So,
Yes.
but I think you and me get the gist of that.
Yeah.
So very good. And just to conclude, as we know, South Africa, Affies is one of South Africa's leading boys' schools, with all their traditions, their heritage, and they just continue to shape the next generation of players. And that is something we can only hope that will continue for many, many, many years to come. Um, to build on this legacy, to build on this future, to build on something that is very special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, they've always been um, part of our history. I mean, since 1920,
Yes.
it's a school that's older than 100 years. So they've always been this school to beat in the Northern Transvaal, the pride of school in Blue Ball rugby schools.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%. And we hope that they will host a very good tournament. We hope it will be flawless, not too many hiccups, and that they will just enjoy the tournament, and all the other schools that will participate, that they will just come to Gauteng and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the last bit of summer, and have fun at the end of the day. And that we will always remember that
Absolutely.
boy rugby must win at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. This is basically the a bit of a preview of the school as we return now to the main screen. Awesome. As I said, we are now looking. We are 4 days away from let's say now 3 days, the 26th. We are literally 3 days away from the start of the Noord Suid Tournament. So on the 25th, the night before the Noord Suid Tournament, we will have a quick look at the fixtures as well as the teams that's going to be participating at the Noord Suid Tournament. So please join us for an exciting episode on the Wednesday. And as I said, we will be there on the Saturday. We will try to bring you, I will try to bring everyone up to date with the matches beforehand, match fits where I can, possible. But on the Saturday, we will be there for the entire day. We will have match fit. We will show you the school. We will have short kind of build-up analysis about the coming games. So if you're in the area, please join us at Affies. Come say hello to us. We will be there with our t-shirts. Schoolboy, you'll recognize us by our Schoolboy Bonanza t-shirts.
Yes.
Just come and say hello to us. Maybe take a photo of us, whatever, and come and enjoy the day.
Yes.
But until then, from my side and from Louis' side, it is goodbye. And once again, thank you, Louis, for your time.
Thank you very much, Steve. And we will see you in the next episode. I think that's going to be an interesting one. I think we will have a couple of differences on the schools that we want to see, that we want to see winning. So I think for everyone else that's been watching today, please come again. I think it's going to be a rock and roll show next week, and we will just have a bit of fun, bit of banter, and just take it from there.
Absolutely. If you haven't joined our Facebook community or our Facebook group, please join our Facebook group. We're a growing community that is growing on a daily basis. It's exciting. And if you would love to stay tuned to our regular or our episodes and our chat shows, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on the YouTube. We also have an online magazine. The link is pinned on our Facebook group. If you go to Featured, the Featured category on top, you can actually see our YouTube link, all the previous episodes. If you've missed on a couple of episodes, it's all there, as well as the YouTube channel. You can catch up on our previous episodes, our previous 9 that's been broadcast beforehand. And you can also get the link on our Facebook group. If you're unsure, please ask us. Send us a message on our messengers or on the group, and we will also gladly share the link with you.
100%.
Then from our side, we would like to say goodbye. We would also like to say a special thanks to Arno. That's also working with us. He's our journalist, as well as our cameraman, Brian Dudley. And then, of course, Louis' wife, Sarah, that's always helping Louis with the layout of the magazine.
Yes.
That is it from our side.
Yes, thank you, Steve. And I will see you in the next episode.
Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.